Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. As we continue with Part 11, Kobo Daishi, founder of Shingon, from the Adepts in the Eastern Esoteric Tradition, by Manly Palmer Hall, Part 2, the Arhats of Buddhism. Kobo Daishi, founder of Shingon. The most celebrated of the Buddhist saints of Japan was the bonze Kukai, best known under his posthumous title of Kobo Daishi. In AD 806, this Japanese priest, who had been initiated by Chinese masters, founded the Shingon-shu, or the Sect of the True Word. According to popular tradition, the Shingon school of Mahayana Buddhism is based upon the teachings of Buddha, which had been discovered by the sage Nagarjuna when he opened an iron tower in southern India about 800 years after the death of Gautama. Kobo Daishi descended from a noble family, and according to his birth legends, he was born in an attitude of prayer with his hands and feet joined together. He started life resolved upon an official career, for which he prepared himself by attending an outstanding university. While a student, he became profoundly interested in Confucianism, but this ethical system was not sufficiently deep to satisfy his mind. He then turned to the teachings of the celebrated Chinese mystic Lao Tse, whose abstract speculations were more suitable to the young man's natural capacities. When he was about 24 years old, Kobo Daishi received an internal illumination. He had already become a priest, and, inspired by the spiritual mystery unfolding within him, he journeyed to China in 804, where he gave himself up entirely to the perfection of his consciousness. Returning to Japan, he was encouraged by the emperor to establish the Shingon sect. The new school gained immediate popularity, appealing to the most cultured and at the same time to those of humble attainments. From Les Sectes Bouddhiques Japonaises, native portrait of Kobo Daishi, founder of the Japanese sect of Shingon. This celebrated saint is described by E. Steinilber Oberlin as a prodigious man possessing supernatural powers, a mystic, philosopher, artist, scientist, and a magician whose genius could dominate the elements and change the course of things. He was the inventor of the hiragana syllabary, a refined system of writing now used throughout Japan, and was a calligrapher of distinction. Beatrice Lane Suzuki notes that Kobo Daishi was an author, sculptor, and the foremost leader of the times in educational enterprises and social work. He dug wells, opened roads, established a school for non-aristocratic students, was the teacher of 3 emperors, friendly with priests of other sects, and beloved by all. No wonder that his light still shines at Koyasan. When Kobo Daishi, who could paint with 10 brushes at the same time, decided that he had completed the work for which he had come into incarnation, he assumed the posture of ecstasy and was buried alive at his own request. This occurred in 825. Many of the pilgrims who journey to the shrines of the Shingon sect are convinced that the master never actually died, but remains in his grave in a state of meditation, waiting for the Buddha who is to come. The doctrines of Shingon are a natural expression of the enlightened mind of their saintly founder. He was a gentle, intuitive man, convinced by his broad learning of the natural goodness present in every living creature. He refused to accept the external confusion of life as a reality and sought the solution to the riddle of existence by searching beneath the surface of things for eternal and sustaining values. He believed that both religion and life were outer expressions or symbols of principles invisible to the external perceptions, but to be discovered as experiences of consciousness. Thus, even Buddhism itself was both exoteric and esoteric. There was a doctrine for the many, rich in moral and ethical implications, but inadequate to accomplish the perfect enlightenment of the human being. There is also a mystery doctrine which cannot be attained by the intellect, but must be accomplished by the 10 degrees of spiritual elevation. Such as make themselves one with the esoteric heart of the doctrine, become clear knowers. There are many ways by which the internal organs of knowing may be opened like the bud of the white lotus, to receive into themselves the pure light of Buddha. This ecstatic state may result from the contemplation of sacred pictures and world diagrams called mandalas, Sanskrit mandalas. So subtle is this mystery that mudras, the postures of the hands, mantras, ritualistic statements of spiritual power, and similar religious practices may stimulate ecstasy of identity with the all-pervading. All the followers of the Shingon sect take 5 vows as follows. 1. I vow to save all beings. 2. I vow to bring together wisdom and love. 3. I vow to learn all the Dharmas. 4. I vow to serve all the Buddhas. 5. I vow to attain the highest enlightenment. The ideal of Shingon is to attain Buddhahood during the present life and in the present body. In Koyo-san, Madame Suzuki summarizes the concept thus. The chief point is that there is one absolute reality, and everything, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, men, angels, plants, and other substances, have latent Buddhahood, and through the practice of the three secrets, enlightenment can be attained. Everyone and everything is one with this absolute reality, the Dharmakaya, and when this oneness is realized, truth is known and suffering ceases. By this concept, Buddhahood is gained not so much by the tedious processes of growth, but by breaking through the walls of illusion. This is the Shingon ideal, Sokushin Yobutsu. It is not so different from the absolutism of European mystics, the belief to know truth and that truth known shall make men free. Most Eastern mystics have sensed the mystery of God consciousness. They have realized the possibility of identification with universals by means of ecstasy or exaltation, resulting from the contemplation of the qualities or attributes of the divine substance and the divine being. Kobo Daishi taught a kind of theurgy, not essentially different from that of the Neoplatonists. For like these philosophers of Alexandria, he was himself a scholarly and generous thinker. Such a conviction in its purest form is beyond the understanding of the average human being, and it was inevitable that the followers of the faith should lean heavily upon the ritualistic means and have but a dim comprehension of the spiritual ends. While his teachings fell away somewhat in practice from their exalted theories, Kobo Daishi is entitled to full recognition as an initiate teacher. He opened a gate for those who had the wisdom, courage, and love to serve unselfishly, the light that shines in the heart of man and in the heart of the world. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.